Perhaps I should
Back
wait
to work,
outside.
everyone. No time for dallying. A fine thing you reached us when you did. They would have burned the fishery next, mark my words. And the last thing this lot needs is another excuse to knock off early. Anyway, excuse the mess. If there's something you need, the clerk can get you sorted. Just watch your step if you have a mind to look around. The floors are slick and none too pleasant to fall on. The woodcutter? If he's anywhere, he'll be working the stand of trees in the russet wood. Don't go as far as that frozen pond, mind you.
Well, what are we waiting for?
The only way to be free of revenge is to never pursue it. Turn the other way and never look back.
Need something else. Been running it 4 decades now. I reckon I can tell you what you want to know. It may stink of fish guts, but there's no place more critical to stalwart survival. Herds come and go, so there's seasons when our catch sustains the village. But try telling these folk as much. We go home each day covered to the elbows in fish oil and entrails, reeking of our work. Stalwart's shrinking, but it would disappear if we lost it. Need anything else? I bet he did. He despised Stalwart when he lived among us, and all the more when we gave him the boot. Never knew the old man to stay silent, that's for sure. When a man's full of that many words, some of them are bound to be nonsense.
It's past midnight. Go! To raid Ceres, or Defiance Bay, or fucking Air Glonfoth, I don't care! I'll tell them. Mayor Sina healed. The neighbors, everyone.
About what?
The stealing. You think I haven't noticed the money missing from the fishery coffers? Or heard Tana talk about losing a golden duke? You can't be found when there's work to do, but every time those merchant wagons roll into town, you've got coin enough for a few bags of ripple sponge.
No, it's not.
Stalwart tolerates your sponge habit, but they won't abide your thieving.
You won't.
I will.
Stop that thief!
This! Yeah!
Oh, my hands do not look like that. Whoa.
locating divination tool. Well, that's what it will be. I have to calibrate it. Right now it seems to think you're a copper deposit. My Animancer contacts did suggest that a particular strong soul essence might interfere. I'm more interested in minerals in any case. I'm trying to recreate the instruments that first led the Pargrin dwarves to this mountain. This is my latest prototype. Centuries ago, dwarves carrying tools just like this one followed their readings to what is now the battery. If I can recreate their work, then I may be able to find ore deposits elsewhere. I was hoping to test it, but my arrival was delayed by word of the ogre attack. Really? That'd be wonderful. I just have to adjust the device, you see. It should point you toward metal deposits. We already know the battery rests on some rich veins, but I was hoping to get a reading of the surrounding mountainside. If you can follow the readings to ore and bring back a sample, I can use it to refine the device. Thanks ever so much for this.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
step lightly.
Feels like it's hardly worth putting the huts back up.
Better than standing out here shivering.
How goes? Auroch Shadow, what's that wicked thing doing here? It's a killer! Look, we don't want no trouble, just trying to do our work. We'd be much obliged if you'd leave us be. And take that thing with you. What did you say?
Almost 15 years I've been looking for him. All that fretting and wondering, and the deed's over in less time than it takes to tell. Peace. Now there's a funny word for it. I killed a lot of folk in my time. Felt their blood slick in my hands, smelled their flesh as it burned. And I always used to imagine what it would be like to have Harmke under my knife, feeling his breath come hot and fast, smelling the fear ooze out of him. Couldn't feel a thing. His fading pulse weren't no more than a powder of rain to me. This body, it weren't made for feeling. Gouging my fingers into Harmke's wasting flesh, his screams just buzzing in my skull. All it did was remind me that this is a madman's fever dream. Like a prison. But no, because in a prison, you lay your head down and you feel the straw soft beneath you. Your flesh prickling in the cold, black bread crumbling on your tongue. I'd trade 'em all if I could feel the snow cold around my ankles. I still dream I'm folk. I wake up some mornings wondering why I can't feel the floor beneath me, thinking I must have fallen and gone crippled. But then I lift my head, see a bronze corpse stretching out in front of me. I dream too of what Galvino did that night. Those moments. I'd endure another cold morn if it'd spare me this fate. It was after I got caught in Stalwart. They'd locked me in a little house by the inn, the old mayor and his cronies. When a crowd of them came for me in the dark of night, I was only surprised it had taken them so long. Only they didn't march me to no gallows. No. They snuck me to another house on the edge of town, real sneaky-like. That's where I met Galvino. True enough. This was before the locals gave him the boot. Still weren't a popular fellow, though. He was fiddling with some machinery in his workshop. Had his sleeves rolled up, even though it was cold enough to see your breath. Never actually looked at me until he started fitting some copper helmet over my head. By that time, the mayor's goons had me trussed up good and tight. Galvino was having himself a grand time barking orders at that lot. He'd agreed to hand me over to Galvino for an experiment. Claimed it was a fair punishment, but the townfolk weren't too pleased at being denied their stone pitching. Didn't help that they heard the jangle of copper in that deal. In the end, that's what sent Galvino and the old mayor packing. So while Galvino's fastening that helmet over my head and them copper bands around my arms, I'm starting to look at his contraption. And that's when I see it. It's this metal suit strapped into the machine, just like me. A cold, dead-eyed thing, all done up with fancy carvings and such. The one. I start asking Galvino and the rest of them what's going on. But then suddenly, they're waiting, staring at me with that fixed, horrified look. But they ain't watching me. They're watching for something to happen. Galvino tells the woman nearest the machine to flip the handle. And then, just pain. Being torn apart every which way, feeling my soul peeled from my body. By the time I came to, I couldn't feel a thing. Just this dull, distant sort of ache. I think that was when I knew. Sure enough, and how Galvino ended up in that little shack. The rest of Stalwart didn't take kindly to having a killer in their midst, nor to seeing their mayor and the army Valians strike a secret deal. They drove Galvino out, destroyed a fortune in machinery, and wrote a letter to the Academy in Salona, ruining what was left of his name. Still, he's lucky he didn't get a pelting. The old mayor fled too, and Stalwart's been as snug and cheery as ever. You're better company than Galvino. Been a while since I were out in the world. Guess I'm keen on seeing more of it. Even if I'm stuck with a bleeding heart. Anyways, I've been wondering about that fortress. Near everyone thinks it'll have just the thing they need. Those villagers thought it'd fix up their broke-down town. Until you gave them bigger worries. Galvino always thought it carried some great secret of animancy. And all them adventurers came looking for fancy gear. I don't know. Something to help me feel. Or forget. Effigy's eyes, maybe just something new. I just figured, with those dwarves being expert smiths and all, maybe they had something to unmake me. Put me back into my body. You really think so, huh? Well, Ain't like you to blast hot air.
Something I can do for you? Something I can do for you? Halfrick's got me straightening the room. Something I can do for you?
Pay attention. Sooner we get this done, sooner we can go. We're hurrying, Captain Gregor. Honest.
Ma'am? Excuse me, ma'am? You all right? Who? I don't... Thief? I'm the captain of the guard. Best be careful where you sling an accusation like that. We're of one mind, then. However, I like to see offers on the table before I deal. What would you give me? I see. You have me at a loss, and yet this is not a loss entirely. Hammers of Durgan, ring loud. May the anvil's deep music resound. Walls of the battery safeguard our works from marauder and wilder alike. Abidun's faithful travail by the forge, and the fires that brighten the ore. If anyone asks, you didn't hear it from me. Got that? Now, beg your pardon for going on so. I got carried away, and... What was that I said? About hammers and fires and... You must be joking. How could that happen? I can't be awakened. That means... Andres tides. I'm stuck with him. It's not all bad, Owena. Way I see it, you and me could make some deals. To our mutual benefit. Deals? What do you want from me? For you, not from you. I'm thinking it's time we got a raise. I don't know about that. Halfrick's a bit of a miser, he is. Don't you worry about Halfrick. I've got something else in mind.